Hey guys, this is beginning to end on a very simple animation. We're just going to draw an outline of Frank right now. This is just with the pencil tool. As you go into the pixel brush on Fresco, it comes up with a default pencil. Doesn't really matter whether you get things wrong. I know on this one my tail is completely different. Because I've done a little bit of a weird curve and I don't like that at all. But it'll change in a bit. A nice little seated pose. Like I said, I want to make this really, really simple so that it's really, really easy to follow. And then once we're happy with the general shape of what Frank's going to look like, we'll start moving on to the hard round pen. That's my kind of style with cartoony things. I like a nice thick outline, just going round the nose area, which I don't like, so I'll do it again. Now being left-handed, it leaves me a little bit of a weird way of drawing and writing. I tend to have my paper, or iPad in this case, the wrong way around. But yeah, nice little circle for his eyes. And just going round the lines of eyes and head. And his little fin at the back. I find Fresco extremely easy to use. I've been Photoshop, Illustrator kind of thing for most of my drawing, which has spanned a good few years on and off. So having the same kind of tools is a godsend. And now with the addition of the iPad and an Apple Pencil, it makes perfect sense. This is where you see the tail go completely different. I think I try a couple of things as well, because I do it down there. And then I think, nope, that is bloody awful. Doesn't look right at all. So let's go for a more simple shape. There he is. And now the log he's sat on. Which again, no real reason for this, but I skew off a little bit with the second branch and just make a little additional bit. Because why not? There we go. That does not look right at all. And yeah, it probably looks a bit better for a chameleon. There we go. There's plenty of tips online for drawing a double circle and then holding on so that it makes a perfect circle. And then you can change the size and all sorts of it. Really helped me. Now colour in. Oh, too dark. Let's go dead simple. Take the margin right up so we don't end up with those weird white lines that are all over the outline if you double check. There we go, make him green. I like locking the transparency because my hand isn't the steadiest in the world, so I will draw all over the place if I don't do that. Oh, what happened there? Little bits of shading. This is literally intended as one of those that are just straight start to finish, no messing about, because there's plenty you see where it's like, oh, this is how I did it, and then all of a sudden in the video it flicks forward about 20 minutes for some bits that really you probably would have wanted to see. But a lot of this is stuff you've just got to figure out for yourself. Get on there and start drawing and seeing what happens. The likes of shading, I think I did a lot where it was blended in, but at the moment I like this simplified style of just the thick lines, especially when you're starting to animate things, because it makes things much less complicated to colour. I am by no means a professional animator. I don't work for Disney or anything like that crap. I literally just draw as a hobby, and luckily create some children's books out of it, because why not? I'm not sure about that line. Let's get rid. And just so everyone knows, there's still a competition running on authorferk.co.uk. Basically, draw Frank, win a prize. It's running to the end of the month, of next month, the end of June. So feel free to pop along, download some of the worksheets if you really want to, or you can just use a piece of paper, use an iPad, use whatever you want. And tag author_Ferk, whether you're on Instagram or TikTok, Facebook, whatever you want. Little bits of highlights. Now that the simple animation here is going to be a blink, so I'm not leaving his eyes white just to get a zombie effect, because I know it looks pretty freaky. It's literally just because I want his eyes to blink, and you'll see why that benefits not being on the same layer shortly. Well, finishing touches. And there's Frank. Now let's move that layer underneath. I want a nice brown for the branch. Nice and big so it doesn't take me 12 years. But I also don't want it too big, so I'll go out the lines. See, not the steadiest hand in the world. I also could have done with being quite a bit bigger. That would have coloured much quicker. I don't claim to be massively intelligent. Sometimes I just like colouring him. There we go. Bit of shading. Darker. Forgot to lock transparency. That was almost a mess. There we go. See, that would have gone right out of what I'd painted before then, and it would have looked a bit odd. Probably not as noticeable to someone who hasn't drawn it from scratch and realised themselves, but it is what it is. A bit around his tail and under his butt. And a little bit darker right under his bum. Just where his butt's actually touching the wood. There we go. And I think I want a background. Nice blue. Sky behind him. There we go. Nice and big, because I'm not taking ages with this one. I'm just sticking to the hard round. I'm not using anything special. There we go. Now we're looking at the eyes. So, a new layer. Right at the top, where you can see it, black. Make a little pupil. Just a little dot on one eye. And a little tiny dot on the other eye. There we go. Now, that will create a layer. So you press the animator button at the bottom. That'll come up with a new set of layers, which is the animation frames. So I want him to keep his eyes open for a while. So if I just duplicate it several times, I'll probably duplicate a lot more as we get to the end. And then let's start looking at making him blink. So I want another new, in fact not yet, I'll do the colour on the new layer. So on frame 5, let's just start his eyes coming down. Not forgetting the second eye. And then a new layer will come underneath. Now I've already created 5 layers for the first one of him with his eyes open, so I need to create 5 layers where nothing happens on this one. And then on the last layer, that's when it'll show me that I've put the eyelids coming down, so I can colour behind it. Just to make it a little bit green. Otherwise, it just looks a bit daft. There we go. And then create a new layer, and I need to do a new layer for each for the outline of the blink and the colour of the blink. So the next layer I do can have his eyes down a little bit further. And it'll show me the onion skin from the last layer as well. And thinner eyes this time, but now the pupil goes over it a bit. So if I colour behind it, the pupil will still be there. So I need to delete. I probably should have removed some of the pupil first, but it is what it is. Now let's remove some of the pupil. I know it looks black, it looks purple, but that's because of the onion skins all around it. Just to show me where it was. Was a bit too much. That's better. Then the other one, and colour behind it. There we go. Oh, I didn't do the other at all. Make him blink. Because he's not quite winking at you. Maybe a bit weird. And the colour again. Just to get the colour, I'm holding my finger down on where the colour is. That'll give me the exact colour of what I'd used before, rather than having to guess which colour I've got. And then finally, I can just go with a single. See, I have been duplicating the layer so that I kept the pupil on this one. I've just created a new one because I don't need the pupil, because I'm just drawing 2 lines across the eyeball and then colouring them green. as so. There's one. And there's t'other. Now, if you press play, I'll just add an opening one as well afterwards. Only one of the layers just duplicated over so that he doesn't just open his eyes straight open and there is a bit of opening. There we go. Now, he didn't have his eyes open for nearly as long as I wanted him to, so let's just duplicate the open eye frame just a few more times. Not forgetting to duplicate the frame on the colours, otherwise that will look really, really odd. So I think it's 8 times this time. Let's have a look. Still doesn't have them open for long enough. Let's do a bunch more times. 10 more times. 2, 4. There we go. And onto the other layer. Duplicate the pupils because I don't want them disappearing. There we go. Now let's have a look. There we go. He's got his eyes open for a few seconds and then a little blink. See how easy that was on Fresco. Absolutely easy. Once again, author_Ferk on social media. Like, subscribe, do whatever you want. Thank you very much.